Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I've invented the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute meeting. All right. Ashland City Council meeting of February 18th. The city administrator said, I just watched our cops out my office window today engage a crazy person on the plaza, and they were awesome because the crazy person was such a jerk, and still our cops were awesome, and the crazy jerk person left shaking their hands. And then there's a special presentation. There are 4 of them, actually, and so the mayor goes, first one is the census. We have a bunch of people from the census here to talk to us. And census, anybody, where are they? No one here? Bueller? They're not there. Okay, number 2, So Ready. That's a group. Have them come up. And then they're a regional economic development group. They had an 88-page plan with coalitions and worker stats and gap financing. They lent money to businesses and they won awards and they did recruitments, whatever that was. And then they brought a gift, a framed copy of a proclamation, and they very awkwardly presented it. That was weird. And then this one goes, hey, that wasn't long enough. I have a question about energy things. Do you do that? And the So Ready lady said, we don't do anything with energy. And then this guy goes, hey, what about those 2 companies you lent money to that still live in town? Which ones are they? And then she said 2 companies I'd never heard of. And then the mayor goes, okay, we got number 3 presentations, the golf thing. And a guy from the Veterans for Golf Clubs of Southern Oregon, and the guy said they used the golf to help rehab veterans, and 32 veterans showed up at Oak Knoll, and they got a lot of golf clinic help, and golf changed their lives. And the guy was actually he was really sweet and emotional about the whole thing. It was actually pretty great. But however, at the end, there was another very awkward plaque presentation to this dude. And then presentation number 4, hey, police chief guy show up, the 1-year review of the Lyft and Uber driver ordinance. And the chief said, no real news on that. There were 80 drivers in town, and one girl said one of them was a creeper this one time, and that was it. And then public forum. Basic public forum. There's a baseball cap guy said he's got a community solar group, and they're encouraging private and public solar projects for the city somehow. And then, of course, crazy gray-haired guy was there, and he said he's running for city development director, and he's going to fire all the city planners, and we need energy engineers, and it will get 3 degrees hotter, not 1 degree hotter, but we need to stop 5 degrees hotter, and solar cars, and you can do it, and 3 degrees, and then he kind of just stopped talking and walked off. That's his new thing. And then consent agenda. This guy goes, hey, what's up with the pool? And Parks guy said, this is a contract for the pool design guy to design the pool, and it should take 4 months, and then we'll start building this year. And then this one goes, she says, are you checking back with the council at some point during the process? And the Parks guy went, not really. We've got consultants and stuff, and we're going to talk to the community in some vague way. I don't understand. And then, this is a bigger deal than I thought. This guy goes, hey, so we're up with the lease of the Imperatives property to some nonprofit horse group. And the public works lady is like, this is leasing. We're going to lease this property to this group. And the horse lady from the group said, we're 100% horse. We're going to use this for grazing to manage the land with rotations and ecology in mind, but there's also some cows. And then there's public forum, and a lady in a hair bun said, "This sounds good, but regenerative grazing sounds weird. I don't know. I want to make sure this has some oversight or something." Or just like, well, this is all new. Wait. We need to vote on this today, do we? And then this one goes, hey, so what's with regenerative grazing? And the horse lady said, we have transparency, and they're trying to time grazing to eat the right plants at the right time. And then this guy goes, hey, do you have stats on how your cows and their farting methane versus your carbon sequestration works? And the horse lady said, it is net neutral. I guess those are verbal stats. I just said it. And then this guy goes, hey, what's your phone number? And it did come across that creepy. But then he said, can you teach this horse rotation thing to others? Is what he meant to say. And she said, sure, of course. And then this one said, hey, what's exactly your process? What's going on there? And the horse lady said, every season the process differs depending on how things go. She goes, is this a kill farm? And the horse lady said, no, ma'am. And I think that's she gets polite when she gets upset. Then this one goes, hey, the climate question is the big thing. And the horse lady said, you have to come with me on a field trip. And then she said a whole bunch of stuff about cow farming and stuff like that. And the public works lady said, staff thinks this is a great idea. And then this guy goes, so just to be sure, cows are going to be eaten eventually, right? And the horse lady went, and who knows, not necessarily. And the public works lady jumped in and said, no, this is a great idea, by the way. I love it. And then this one goes, She goes, I move to remove this from the consent agenda and look at it some more later. And then there's lots of talks, and the vote was 5-1 against her motion. This was the one against. That's right. She voted against her own amendment or her own order. Anyway, so that's how that went. And so they then moved to approve all the consent agenda, the pool design and this grazing contract thing, and then approved. So Ashland now has a cattle ranch, I think. And then, back to the $10 million City Hall bond, by the way. Public forum, some gray-haired guy said, the ground under the City Hall is earthquake-proof, and stop panicking about earthquakes. And a bald-ish guy, he seems to be growing his hair back, is back to talk about the $1.7 million moved out of the facilities fund a couple years ago. The city is more financially irresponsible than just a victim of PERS costs. And the former council doctor lady said there's 5 reasons to oppose the bond. 1, 2, and 3 were something. And then 4 was something about a city poll. And then 5 was the earthquake is being used to foment fear. And then Beard and Flannel Guy said, I will fight to save the original historic City Hall. And then there was about 2 minutes of a history lesson after that. And then the former mayor lady, she didn't even bother giving her name, and then disputed point by point every person in the public forum before her while she was supporting the ordinance. And then the head of the Historic Commission showed up and said, we think that preserving the historic City Hall should be a priority, and replacing the building with a new building that looks old but doesn't count. And then the mayor started reading all of his reasons why the ordinance was a good idea. But this guy goes, hey, reading all your ideas seems inappropriate from the dais there at this point. I move to stop you from doing that. And then 5-1, they all agreed to stop the mayor from talking, except for this one who apparently loves the sound of his voice. And then the city lady said, this is how the building will go after the bond passes. We'll have a permitting process, and then there'll be some meetings, and then there's going to be demolition, and then we're going to have a historic commission meeting, and then but we're waiting for to design anything until the bond even goes on the ballot, and then after that we're waiting until the bond passes to do certain things. And then this guy goes, hey, did we already vote for a city hall from scratch over the 3-wall restoration? The city lady said, yeah, you did that. And then this guy goes, hey, do we need to pick which one of those, the demo versus 3 walls tonight? And then this guy goes, is it possible even to demo the 3 walls? Didn't we talk about that's like unpermittable, city lady? And they talked about Christmas trees for a little bit, and then they decided they could figure out all what city hall they would build after the vote. And this guy goes, hey, I move to just put the bond for a generic city hall on the ballot for $7.2 million. And this guy says, hey, if we aren't specific and clear about what we're going to ask for in the city hall, that bond can be defeated and we've lost our chance. It doesn't matter. Passed. City hall. So far only passed, and this guy's the only no. And then we go to this guy jumps back in and says, he goes, hey, I suggest we don't put Pioneer Hall or the community center of the bond and pay for them out of marijuana money. And this one goes, I say we put both of those buildings on the bond. And this guy goes, I move to put both those buildings on the bond and vote 3-3 tie. And the mayor, this guy breaks the tie, and he goes, yeah, put them on the bond. So I think that was a no to put on the bond. That was a no. And I think that was your third no, put on the bond. Didn't matter. And now the fountain, this one goes, hey, I moved to take that fountain off the bond. I mean, that's crazy. And they all agree. They're like, yeah, absolutely. Well, at that point, the former mayor arose indignantly and walked out in a huff. Very dramatic. Oh, Ashland, so good. And then the new solar field for $2 million. This guy goes, hey, I say we put that solar field on the bond. It is forward thinking and investment in energy safety. And no, everybody said no. He said yes. She said yes. Everyone else said no. So the $8.2 million bond for City Hall, Pioneer Hall, and Community Center are going to be on the May ballot. And they all just double voted on that. And as they double voted, this one said, no. So that was it. End of meeting. You're welcome.